Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Hey there. Oh. Hey there, female Army veteran. How you doing, ma'am? It's good to see y'all. I'm just waiting for people to come in. Fix yourself a drink, okay? I'm trying to get my stuff shared across my platform so people know I'm on. So if you see me silent, I promise you, you're not going crazy. There's nothing wrong with your volume. I'm just up here trying to promote, and all of that good stuff. Uh, all of that good ish. Well, come on in. Tell a friend. Uh, y'all, I promise you, this is the worst thing that I hate about doing this is that whenever it's time for me to go live, I gotta get on this thing and try to share this stuff all across my platform. So y'all just bear with me. Just a little moment longer. Just bear with me. Share. Okay, there we go. That's what I need. I know that's what I hated. I'm trying to get it shared all across the platforms, and it's like it wants me to have to do everything separately. I'm quite sure it's probably a way that you can do it, but I probably have to figure it out or whatnot. But anywho, though, I'm happy to see y'all. It's been a minute. Let me tell you, it's just been so much going on with me. It's just been so much going on, and I just been trying to find my way. Gotta find my way back, way back. Hey, mm. How y'all doing tonight? If this is your first time watching, let me know where you're watching from. Normally I really hate eating on camera. It's something I told myself I would never do, but y'all, I'm hungry. Okay. I'm having me some Chinese food from one of my favorite Chinese restaurants. And I need a table so I can set this. Here you go. So I won't waste this stuff on my nice jacket. Whew. Hold on, y'all. Child, you see this red sauce? I'm trying not to spill it. But yeah, I decided, to come on because I haven't been feeling well and things. And I said, you know what? I miss my people and I need to see my people. So I said, let me come on and see what y'all up to. See who on here on a Saturday night, okay? Because I don't normally be on here at a Saturday night and things. So first time Southern Florida eats is fine. Female Army veteran, did you see my live from how did you find my live on female Army veteran, if you don't mind me asking? And what do you go by as far as prefer do you go by? Because I like to try to call people by them, as far as by their names that they prefer to go by. Mm-hmm. My God. Y'all, the food's so good. But yeah, so anyways, I had been looking at the news this week and things. They call me Fave, pronounced Fave. Okay, Fave. I like that. What's up, Fave? So yeah, I decided to come on here because I know I haven't been on in a while. And I miss y'all. And Fave, did you see my live? Like, did YouTube recommend my live? How did you come across it? Because I see that you're a first time watcher. But so much stuff has been going on in the news and stuff between the Brunswick case with Ahmaud Arbery, then the Rights in the House, then we got we had DaBaby the week before last acting up, and then Chaka Khan, okay, tiptoeing through like somebody's drunk uncle or drunk auntie, honey, on the Verzuz with Stephanie Mills. Y'all, just been a lot going on. And then rest in peace to young Dolph. Sad. Just really sad, Very much rest in peace. So we just gonna keep him lifted up and keep his family lifted up in prayer, because it's just sad. Like, I know you can literally lose your life anywhere, but it makes me scared to even go out and even step foot outside the house. So, it's been a lot going on in the news and it's just been crazy. But the first thing that I saw, now that I can kind of give y'all a brief overview of the hot topics, was, rest in peace to young Dolph. So, apparently he lost his life. I believe that was Tuesday or Monday. I got to go back and look at the dates. Let me go back and look at the dates. But he was shot outside of this local black-owned business named Makita's Cookie, like Makita's Bakeries or something like that. I think it's called Makita Cookies. Yeah, Makita's Homemade Cookies, located in Memphis, Tennessee. But he lost his life. Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up, Faith. But he lost his life though, simply going to buy cookies, y'all. Like, the man was simply going to walk, and he was going to going to get cookies at his favorite cookie shop. From what I understand, he had been frequenting this cookie shop for a while. And as a result, I don't know if somebody probably knew that, but the guys who were seen on camera on the surveillance, they basically, you see two guys, they was in like a Mercedes-Benz white coupe. They pull up. Apparently, I think the car was still running. Um, the car was still running, and basically they pulled up and shot out. I don't know whether they shot at the bakery or shot through it, but they shot up the bakery or shot him up. And it's just sad. Y'all, it's just sad. And he had a gorgeous family. Oh my God. I don't know whether the girl he was married to, or it was the girlfriend, but I think he had like 2 or 3 kids. And he had a significant other. And to know that, he's not gonna be here for Christmas. Now, I don't really know what Young Dolph plays. That's why I'm not really like personally like know everything about his life like I would if it was like Luther Vandross or somebody like that, because I don't know what songs he play. Maybe I've heard it in the past before and I probably just did not know the name, but it still does not mean anything. A life is a life. A life is a life, period. I saw that. Yes, babe, you are correct. And they allegedly did find a getaway car today. It was behind the house. It was behind the house, parked behind the house. The police have not confirmed that was it. But if you look at the picture of the surveillance at Makita's Cookies, and you look at the picture of the car they went in, as far as picked up, they look exactly the same. So, I'm hoping that, they've kind of made some leeway. Maybe the person that tipped them off, will kind of give more information. But it's just sad. Then on top of that, what's even more sad is that the bakery, the woman that owned it, I think she passed away from cancer, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And they was already struggling because they were robbed, like a while back before this incident happened with Young Dolph. And so Young Dolph, being a native of Memphis, hey there, what's going on, Minion? Happy to see you as well. Welcome in. But yeah, so as a result, they had been trying to, get their business built back and get everything back up on the run. But business had kind of been hard for them. Then you got to think about the whole situation with last year when everything shut down. Then on top of that, I'm quite sure that people would probably may have been scared to even come by there. Like, it's just so much stuff, so many factors. But the Makita's homemade cookies, where Young Dolph was shot at, they had been struggling to try to get back on their feet. And the woman that originally was like the owner, I guess, she passed away. So he would frequent this actual place because he wanted to, kind of put it on the map, bring in more revenue, get it more, as far as like the publicity out on Instagram and stuff. And, to try to get them back up and running. And they do have a GoFundMe account, I did see, to try to help the staff that works at this bakery, especially after this happened, because I'm quite sure that people are definitely not gonna want to go there now because of out of fear of what you don't never know. I mean, to just have somebody to pull up and just shoot out of nowhere is just scary. So I'm quite sure that's gonna hurt their business as well. So it's just a lot. It's a lot, y'all. Like, it's depressing. And I was sitting here thinking, driving because I went and got my booster shot today. But I was sitting here thinking though, on the way to the store, to the pharmacy or whatever, of how you got all of these people that are in this so-called rap game. And then I think I was also seeing some beef. I don't know if it was like related to the same situation, but it was a rapper by the name of Trouble, I think. Camille Jones, I don't think the store was a target. I think for sure that he was a target. And that's what I was gonna say as far as a segue, is that you got all of these people, that are famous celebrities, and they post on Instagram their every move, everything they're doing. And you never know who's watching, because you can have people that could be jealous and not want to see you succeed. And this, they said that this was the kind of man, yeah, he was a rapper, but also, he gave back a lot. Like, he did a lot. Like, there was a person that was playing his music on the job, and they got fired, and he gave money to them. I've seen him giving money to like schools. He would pass out turkeys around Thanksgiving. And then on top of that, y'all, I just found out before I came on here that they had a memorial for him, and there was a shooting at the memorial. Now, come on, now, as if it already was not bad enough that he lost his life. Now you got the family that goes to the memorial, and there was a shooting at the memorial. Yes. So they would probably have to relocate. What do you think? I definitely think they're gonna have to relocate or either shut down. Like, I don't see how a small business like that can thrive when you got people doing this kind of behavior, because people are going to be in fear for their lives of coming to that bakery, especially after he was shot up. I mean, I do think that it's going to make it popular just for now, because that's the place where he was shot at. People are going to go by there, leave flowers. I'm quite sure, anytime something happens at like a landmark, people always leave flowers and stuff. But outside of that, I don't see them. I mean, I do hope and pray. I'm not saying I'm thinking the worst, but I do hope and pray that they are able to bounce back. But it's just so much going on. They're probably in fear of going to that place, or going anywhere for that matter in Memphis. So it's sad, like, it's really sad. It is really sad, y'all. And then the fact that as if the family hasn't been through enough, you go to the memorial and y'all shooting at the memorial over what? Like, is it really that serious? Like, is it really that serious at this point that it's so much of this whole beef? People want to, as far as represent this side, represent that side, something always personal. Is it really that serious? I mean, we already got people losing their lives to the point of where, the thought of you seeing somebody's obituary is just like an everyday thing now, because we're so numb to, as far as when it comes to death. But now you got people on top of that, adding to that, and especially within our own community, because the guys that shot him, they were definitely black. you know, not to make this into a race thing, but they were definitely black. And so, it's just it saddens me, because I just cannot fathom. As a matter of fact, I had just covered a story. I don't know if y'all saw it. If you go back on my YouTube page, I had just covered a story about this young football player by the name of Ladarius Clardy was his name. He was out of Pensacola, Florida, had a whole full ride scholarship. I think he was like 19, had a whole full ride scholarship to Kennesaw State at playing football. He went back home on the 4th of July and lost his life over a shootout that occurred by one of the people that followed him from this game that they were playing, Dice. They were playing a game called Dice. I guess like Dice. It's some kind of thing that, goes on in like a lot of, I guess, I don't know if it's a black community thing or maybe, affiliation with, whatever the case. But he went back home from Atlanta from on break for the 4th of July, and they was playing a game of dice. And the initial story came out that, his friend had won some money. The people that was there at the dice game did not like it, and as a result, they followed him and they fired 50, not 40, not 30, but 50 rounds into his car, black Honda Accord, and his car went down. Excuse me, his car went down a ravine, and he died on the scene. And it was so sad because this guy was like, he was not in the streets, he was not as far as in that type of life, but that's what happened. And then later on we found out that the people that had did it, they stated that the reason why they shot him was because supposedly it was over mistaken identity, over they thought that he was the guy that had put out a hit on them. So they decided that they would get the ups on him first before he do them. But he wasn't even the guy that, I guess supposedly had put out a contract hit on them. But they said that this was the reason why they went and shot this man. And that's just crazy to me, because if you saw a picture of him, if you go online and type in Ladarius Clardy, as a matter of fact, his Facebook is still up. He looks very distinct. He has blue eyes, which is, biologically his, genetically his. His grandfather has blue eyes, bluish, grayish eyes. He's like my complexion. There's no way that you can get this guy mixed up by mistaken identity. So I really feel like that it was over jealousy. You saw that this kid had a bright future and you felt some kind of way, because of the fact that you probably envied him. And, that's what I'm saying. Just as a segue back into young Dolph, when it comes to people, when people see other people flourishing and thriving, they don't want to see people come up. They want to see people be in the same area and same space as they are. Negativity cannot exist in a positive environment. So it's just like, oh, I don't, you just think you better than us because of the fact that, you on the come up, when really it's not that, but that's how the person probably feel. And I really do feel like that they targeted young Dolph, as I was, mentioning, as an analogy to the football player, but I do feel like they targeted young Dolph because of the fact that, they just probably did not like him for whatever reason. They just probably had a bone to pick. Right, crabs in the barrel syndrome. Yes. Female army Fave said it's just my opinion, but with the resources we have, there should not. Right, exactly. It should not be a mistaken identity. So that's why I didn't believe when they said that that was the reason why they killed that young boy. It seems like if you make it at all, don't go home. Yes, I agree. And that's the sad part about it, because you would think in a place like Atlanta, Georgia, that this young man, Ladarius Clardy, would have, lost his life to like something crazy. But the fact that he went back home to a small town of Pensacola, Florida, and lost his life so senseless over something that really had nothing to do with him, but for whatever reason, and not only that, but these people shot 50 rounds into this man's car. So if you shot 50 rounds into this man's car, and it was two cars, getaway cars, so two people driving that did this. If you shoot 50 rounds into somebody's car, that's a little bit personal. Okay? That's a little bit personal. That means you really got a personal vendetta against someone for you to have that much anger, for you to think that it's even necessary. First of all, it's not even necessary that you take a life away, but you shoot 50 rounds into the car. That's crazy. It's crazy, y'all. And it doesn't make sense to me. That's why even with my YouTube channel, I think about it all the time. You got people like Taylor Nicole, people like The Beast, people like B Loves Life. Excuse me. But people like B Loves Life and stuff, you got people like that who are really, huge and famous, as far as social media influence. And, I always think about that. Sometimes is the fame of being so popular or well known amongst peers and stuff, is it even worth it? I mean, I know people can still lose their lives just every day, even if you're not in that kind of life. But I always wonder, does it make you more more prone to being a target by you being this person that everybody holds you up on a pedestal. Is to me, I feel like that there's kind of a downside and a positive side, which the downside is that there's always you're gonna have haters regardless. You're gonna have haters regardless. And this is not just for celebrities. I mean, you have popular people that was popular kids in school who may still be popular even as an adult. Everybody knew, everybody loved that there was never a stranger that they met. But sometimes I wonder, can that be to your disadvantage? Because people don't want to see you win. Like, they really don't. People do not want to see other people win. It's easy for someone to look at another person, be complacent in whatever it is that they, as far as the point in life that they are, rather than somebody on the up and up who may, have started from the bottom, now we here type of thing. And I just really feel like that a lot of people are miserable and don't want to see anybody else prosper because of the fact that it's always a competition. It's always, oh, I can do this, because you did it. Or let me try to, take it a step above or take it a notch above. That's why I even hate when they, even on the Shade Room, somebody had mentioned on the Shade Room a comment about that, the Shade Room keeps a lot of drama going between people in the industry. And then when the stuff hits the fan, it gets personal. It becomes a whole nother level. So I always wonder, is stuff like that even worth it? Because you gonna always have somebody out there who is literally not happy with themselves, and they just don't want to see you win. So it's just sad to know that to know that this man, young Dolph, has kids he left behind. He had a person clearly that he was very much in love with, just according to from what I've seen on social media. Not saying that I know the relationship with him and the lady that he was with, but just to seeing this family, and everything, and the pictures and posters I've seen from people and his peers, saying how great of a man he was. Just kind of like similar with Nipsey, the other rapper named Nipsey who was gunned down. I mean, it's like the same situations back repeating themselves, history repeating itself over and over and over again, and it's tiresome. Like, I have never understood what makes it so personal. And I know that this can be with anybody. I know it's not just like rappers, but if we were going to just really like break it down specifically, let's just say rappers, what makes it so personal that it's always got to be a serious beef because you may represent this type of affiliation with a group. And when I say group, I mean like, people that, claim to be this and that, whatever. What makes it so personal that people would rather be segregated and it be this whole competition and war against one another? Excuse me, against one another. I don't understand that. Why can't it just be unity? The Queen Latifah, we saw back in the day, female rappers and female empowerment. She had a song called UNITY, Unity. It was all about promoting unity, meaning that, we all don't have to be, we all can eat at the table. It don't just have to be this person and that person. Everybody can have a seat at the table. And that's why I've always loved stuff like that, because it should be all about unity, not division. Excuse me. When the Biggie and Tupac thing happened, I recall seeing a documentary somewhere on how it was all this West Coast, East Coast beef, all of this other stuff, people in the streets hyping stuff up, people boosting people up. It became a point to where, it went from, oh, we on this side, you on that side, to where people really started taking it literal. And I feel like that when it gets to that point, that's when stuff hits the fan. So that's why I just maybe that's why I'm not saying I don't support rappers. I do, because I definitely have my pick of the songs, when it comes to that. But I'm more so focused on the artistry rather than the beef. Like, that's what it should be about. So I don't know. And maybe we would never know. Maybe we would never know the reason why this man lost his life, because that's really what I want to know. I want to know if it was jealousy, the reason why these people decided to take young Dolph's life. Was it over some beef? Like, what was it? Like, what was it? That's what I want to know. And maybe we'll never know. We might not never know. So, just shout out, rest in peace to him and his family. I know they're grieving right now. And, to add insult to injury, as if things weren't already worse enough, these people decide to go and start shooting at his own memorial. That just put the icing on the cake for me. That's when you really know that, yeah, we do struggle with race. We do struggle with a lot of issues as far as it pertains to race. But I always say this: how can we fix certain things when we can't even fix what's going on in our own community? When I say our own community, I mean our own community as the Black community. Because that man should have not lost his life. There should be no reason why we should be seeing him on an obituary today. No reason at all. Like, no reason at all whatsoever. Yes, I agree. Yes, there's enough to eat for everyone. Listen, let me tell you something. These people on YouTube, y'all, if y'all understood, I didn't realize how much drama it was on YouTube until I got started with YouTube. And let me say something while I'm on here. Let me take a sip because I feel like I'm about to choke. Let me just say something, because I've seen this a lot too. And I know different strokes for different folks. It's entertaining. I get it. I really get it. But let me just say this. When I first started YouTube, it was not really for, oh, I want to make a lot of money and be recognized everywhere I go, because quiet as it's kept, for those of you that know me personally, like off screen, y'all know that I really am 6'8". The name Mr. 6'8" is not just some character that I just made up. I did that because I really am 6'8". And how it got started was how my journey got started on YouTube was because everywhere I go, people always wanted to know how tall. Yes, I'm definitely gonna talk about that. Excuse me, Kamal. Yep, I got that on the list tonight as well for Chaka Khan. Hey there, what's going on? Welcome in. But I started Mr. 6'8", long story short, because of the fact that everybody kept mentioning and asked me how tall I was, and people were so fascinated with the height, they just thought it was awesome. And I guess because I see it every day, I didn't think nothing else of it. So it was that I started the channel, because I thought, okay, if people are always, and so amazed in public when they see me, why not, build a brand off of it? That's just the business side mind person as far as in me. And then it went from that to me wanting to do a channel because I struggle with depression. I've talked about it a lot of times. If you go back and look at my earlier YouTube videos, I struggle with depression. I've dealt with suicide. I've dealt with a lot of stuff that I guess other people may not be as vulnerable to share on a public platform. So I wanted to help others because I know what it feels like to go through stuff and feel like that you're alone. So that was the second thing that I started the channel. As far as the YouTube drama, I try to stay away from that. And sometimes it do discourage me because it does discourage me because of the fact that I don't ever want to be affiliated or get caught up in any kind of beef with anybody because I want to see everybody win. Like I literally have no issues with anybody in the YouTube community as long as I've been on here. And I've been on here for maybe like 2 years now, I think. So, I just want to say because I know you somebody had mentioned about, even on YouTube, yeah, there's definitely a lot of beef on YouTube. It's so much beef, it's ridiculous. But everybody can eat. I'm telling you, even you can have a YouTube channel. You all that's watching, anybody can sit here and do what I do. All you need is a platform, which there are so many platforms. The platform that you're looking at me now on, I'm using StreamYard, which is, it routes through YouTube and Facebook where you can show your banner below, show what the topic is, like all kind of stuff. So I mean, it's not just me. It's not just me that can do it. Anybody can do it. Anybody can have a seat at the table if you really want it bad enough. So that's why I never understand when people have all of this, beef with each other, because it's just like we all, when we pass away, we all are going to, if you burn us up, we're going to be sand and dirt and bones. That's it. I mean, we all bleed the same. So why should there be a beef with one another because of whatever the case? I just don't understand that. So I just wanted to put that out there because I do feel like that, of course, negativity sells. It does. Let's just call it what it is. Negativity sells. So yeah, that's that. But moving on to the next topic. DaBaby and Danileigh. So this is kind of a little old, like 2 weeks old when I first came across it. And I ain't really gonna be on the subject too long because DaBaby he does get on my nerve. But basically, oh wow. I suffered depression still 4 weeks ago. I found out I have a brain tumor and my ex left me. Wow. I am definitely sorry to hear that. And I would definitely be keeping you in my prayers for sure. I can't even imagine what that is like to have to go through that, what you mentioned. And you're only 39. My advice to you would be to focus on self, because at the end of the day, that's all you are going to have is yourself. No, when the lights are out, the curtains are closed, you are going to be with you alone. And as far as religion, I don't know. I'm not going to get into all of that because I try to be respectful towards whatever everybody believe or doesn't believe in. But whatever you believe in, just know that you are what matters at the end of the day. You got to take care of self, regardless of what has happened. You got to focus on you, because having a brain tumor, that's serious business, nothing to play with. And even if it means cutting people off, you have to cut people off. Even if you have to be your own hero and rescue your own self, you definitely have to, without a shadow of a doubt, be there for your own self, because 9 times out of 10, some people may have support systems and some people may not. But when it all comes down to it, self-love is the best thing that you can ever do for yourself. So that would be my advice. And I know it's scary, as far as going through that. Me battling with sickle cell, I have a chronic illness, sickle cell anemia, and I deal with it every day. It's a lot of things I think about, with a chronic illness. But I'm not. I used to let it, keep me in fear. But I'm a person that I'm a very strong believer of my faith, what I believe in, and I think that's what it takes, is that you have to believe in yourself. So definitely keep going, don't stop. That's what I would say to you. Hey, Cuddy Black. But to get on real quick, because my mind be slipping, y'all. DaBaby and Danileigh, I just thought it was so crazy, y'all, on this whole thing. I don't know all of the details of it. I don't know how long these people were together, but it's just it is crazy that you got a girl, and I see this with a lot, and I just really, I'm trying to think of the words to say because I don't want to offend people, but at the same time, I just feel like it needs to be said because I do live my life as a bisexual male. So with that being said, yes, I do like women as well, as men. I've wrestled with that. I've come into acceptance with it, and it is what it is. Whoever don't like it can kick rocks. I'm not really going to worry about what people think at this point because I feel like I've earned the right to feel how I feel and stand up in it. Hey, Bill, and so yeah, so with that being said, I feel like that a lot of times females, and like I said, I don't want to speak and say this is with every female, but I do feel like that a lot of times, I do feel like whether you female or male, whatever you like, people get caught up somehow in this fantasy of wanting to be with somebody who's not all polished and put together. It's almost like I would rather take a project. When I say project, meaning that something that you have to work on or work towards or work with or be able to fix or mend when it's broken or deal with all of these crazy imperfections rather than taking a good person that's on the other side that would treat you right and do right by you. And I'm not saying that I know the whole story between Danileigh and DaBaby, but from what was shown on social media, apparently something happened, something transpired, and he put her out the house. He told her she had to get out. She'd had this man baby. She went on social media to defend herself and was like, oh, she's not a side chick, even though he was claiming that she was a side chick. And she was like, well, if I'm a side chick, why is it that you, flew your whole family out to meet me, and stuff? Why is it that you treated me like the main person, main girl, whatever the case? Listen, first of all, when she made that comment, I thought it was kind of ignorant for her to make that comment because nowadays the side chicks are being treated like the main chicks, right? The side chicks are being treated like the main chicks. And when I say the main chicks, I'm talking about just because this person is doing X, Y, and Z for you, it does not mean that he necessarily or she necessarily loves you. That just could be what he do. That could be a part of the game. And when I say game, I'm meaning as far as running game on people, fooling people, putting up a facade. You got to think about it. This man got bukus and bukus of money. Hell, he probably can have 9 women, 10 women at the same time and take care of all of them the same equally. By everybody getting the beans. Okay, he can be like Oprah up in this mode. Everybody getting the beans. Everybody getting the house. Da 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 da. Whatever the case. And I'm quite sure somewhere along the way, this man probably feels empowered because it's almost like, yeah, I'm taking care of you. I'm controlling you. I'm running this game. I run everything. I got all the power. You're just the person that's going to be on my shoulder as a trophy piece to make me look good. Okay. And sometimes that's just what it is. So when she started posting all of this stuff about, oh, if I was a side chick, why is he doing this and that? No, baby, that ain't got nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. Because see, all the stuff you mentioned, I'm telling you, it's 2021. The side chicks are being treated like the main chicks. So because he was doing X, Y, and Z with you and for you, it does not mean that he necessarily seeing you as that main chick, because he just had the power to do that. Okay, so that's the first thing. The second thing is that, and this kind of goes back to a little bit of a story that I'm going to share with y'all real quick. Just a little small story time. Story time. Thank you, blog and teas. But that's just a small story time. So before I went back into the workforce, okay, I did not have anything. Let me just be very clear and transparent. When I first got sick, with sickle cell anemia, first of all, it's like a blood disorder, genetic disorder. It causes a lot of pain because your blood vessels, well, not blood vessels, but blood cells are not getting enough oxygen through the bloodstream. Therefore, you're in a lot of pain. You can't really do a lot. You're feeling fatigued. Your body is not getting a lot of oxygen inside that it needs. Blase, blase, right? Cool. So as a result of that, there was a period of time to where I literally just didn't have anything. I couldn't do anything. I was really sick all the time, always in the hospital. And I wasn't sick. Excuse me. I was not sick as a child, even though with sickle cell, people are typically sick as a child. You're going to just stay with me. You're going to see where I'm going at with this. But I wasn't sick as a child, but I got sick around my teenage years, like 19, 20, 21, maybe close to 21. When that happened, okay, I had to stop everything that I had as far as envision for myself. That included school, college, wanting to do this, wanting to do that. Like everything just kind of stopped and went on the back burner because of the fact that my health had to come first and my health was practically failing me. Now, put a pin note in that while I go and get some tissue real quick. Sorry, y'all, I got to bump my nose. Oh, Lord Jesus. I almost just killed myself just then. Okay, I'm back. So, okay, I'm back. Sorry, y'all. So, put a pin note in there. Okay. So, as a result, from 21, I'm 33 now. From 21 until about 28, I would say maybe, I spent a lot of my years in relationships with people that were really smart, sophisticated, charming, whatever the case. Okay, cool. However, the problem that I found with myself with this is that, yeah, I was with people who was doing well for themselves, who had all of this success, all of the degrees. Okay, we talking about engineers, well-to-do people that work in just all kinds of stuff. Okay, but I didn't feel like I had a voice because you got to think inside your head and be wise about this. When people come into relationships, I know they say what's yours is mine, and mine is yours, but is it really? You see where I'm going with this? Is it really yours? Is it really your vision? Is it really your dream? Is it really what you envision? Is it yours? And what I'm trying to say, with that is that a lot of people go into relationships thinking that because I'm with this person that has all of this success, that means that I'm successful as well. I'm doing good as well. And that's not what it means. And I'm going to tell you why. Yeah, that may look like what it is at first, but when stuff hits the fan, when things hits the fan and all hell breaks loose, the person that you thought had your back sometimes won't have your back. I'm not saying this with every case, but from what I've experienced, that person doesn't have your back. So now here it is, you thinking that, oh, I'm covered, I'm good, I ain't got to worry about nothing. Next thing you know, you find yourself in one of them, what I call Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Shout out to Tyler Perry. Y'all remember Helen? Okay. Y'all remember Helen and Charles, old bald-headed milk duck ass? Yes, you find yourself in one of them situations right there. In that movie, okay, she was married to this wonderful, well-to-do man, well-respected, and when he put her out, he put her ass out. She had pretty much just been thrown out the house, like literally, he drug her out the house through the front door, put her out, and was with this woman that he was trying to have a whole relationship with, or whatever the case. But what I'm trying to get at is that what she thought she had, she really didn't have, because when it all came down to it, he left her broke, busted, and disgusted, is what it was boiled down to. Now, I had a good friend, a best friend, way back in my 20s, and I still do miss her to this day. Whatever reason, we went our separate ways and whatever the case. But she always told me, have your own ish, okay? And that was the best advice that somebody could give me, is have your own ish. Because when people, all of a sudden, there's a division, people are good to you until they're no longer good to you. And now you are finding yourself in the predicament that Danileigh was in with DaBaby. Even though I'm quite sure she had money, people were saying, oh my God, she got thrown out of the house. She didn't have nowhere to go. She made it seem like that she didn't have nowhere to go. Da, da, da. But it still is the same concept though. She probably was so enamored and just dependent on this man because she thought she was in love and he was going to take care of her. And when he put her out, it just really everything fell apart. And people were under the assumption, because that's what she made it seem like, that she didn't have nowhere to go. They made it seem like that she didn't have no friends, no family, whatever the case. They made it seem like that she didn't have nowhere to go. Now, I did recall that she had made a post a couple of days ago saying that, she wasn't trying to say that she didn't have, X, Y, and Z to go, or whatever the case, just because he put her out the house. But that was what you led us to believe, because initially when everything happened, the stories that broke was that DaBaby put out this woman, and as a result, she had a kid, and it was like, you don't completely just abandon this woman, okay? But that's why I always say, have your own stuff regardless of the situation. I don't know if she invested in properties, houses, whatever the case, but have a backup plan. Know your worth. Have your own stuff. So that way, when a person tries to do what DaBaby did to her, you can sit here and tell that dude or that woman, okay? I got my own ish. I don't need you, okay? I'm here because I want to be here. It ain't got nothing to do with the fact of, me being here for whatever material or money, monetary gain that I can get. But I got my own stuff. I had my own stuff before I met you, and I will have my own stuff when I leave your ass. And that's what I try to preach a lot to people when it comes to people getting in these relationships that are, they feel like they don't have a voice. And going back to my situation, a lot of people always ask me, well, what prompted you to really get to a point to say, you know what, I'm gonna go back to work, I'm gonna try to make a life of my own? It was because I felt like I didn't have a voice. I got so dependent and complacent with being with people, thinking that they were going to be there for me always and forever, and it really wasn't that. And once I grasped that concept, it became clear to me that I no longer wanted to be in anybody's relationship and not be considered equally yoked. Okay, put a pin in that. I don't know if they're back together. Blog and Tease. Yeah, I don't know if they're back together. They could be here. We don't at this point. Listen, dumb celebrities, they be on a whole nother playing field. But I made the decision that I no longer wanted to be not equally yoked in any of my relationships. And I'm not saying, because I don't want to make it seem like that, because you do have people that are real full-time moms, housewives, full-time husbands. Hey, whatever, if it works for you, it works for you, great. I'm not speaking to people along that line who are in those type of situations, as far as being a full-time stay-at-home mom where you're not working and you got a man, being a provider and stuff like that. That's cool, fine, and dandy. Okay, that's kind of different. In this particular situation, I'm speaking from the terms of when you are not playing that role and you're with somebody and you just automatically think in your mind, oh my God, this is going to be my forever. And you just absolutely don't think about anything pertaining to independent, because I feel like being independent is so important before you even get in a relationship. And the reason why I say that is because being independent before you get into a relationship teaches you how to survive when things don't go right as they should. Being independent teaches you how to be your own individual and not have to, you know, conform to others and what their beliefs are. You know, that's what being independent teaches you. And so that's why I feel, and I don't, like I said, I don't know the whole gist of Danileigh's situation and whatever the case, but I just feel like that people should think about being prepared just in case. Even if you a stay-at-home mom, I still think that people should have it in their mind, or a stay-at-home dad, people should have it in their mind to really think of what if X, Y, and Z happens. It don't even have to be about because a man put you out. It could be because of the fact that your significant other passed away and you wasn't prepared financially, and now you got to take on a whole toll because you don't been dependent on this person for God knows how long. Everybody needs a plan of some sort that involves being independent on their own, just in case something goes wrong. Because at these days and times, we don't never know what can happen from one day to the next. You could be here one day and gone the next, just snuffed out. So I just that would be my whole take on that DaBaby and Danileigh thing, because I just feel like that, it was one of those typical situations, boy meets girl, girl gets with the boy, they all lovey-dovey taking pictures, and then something goes wrong and things hit the fan. Now she got to find somewhere else to go because whatever the case. So it is what it is. Next topic. So as I'm cruising along through the week, okay, I see this guy by the name of Zac Stacy. Now, I know a lot of you don't know who he is. Hell, I didn't know who he was. But I can tell you that I was triggered by why his name was in the topics. So basically, Zac Stacy was this, to my understanding, this former football NFL player. I don't know if he's still playing football, whatever the case. But long story short, he was in the news for there was a nanny cam, I guess, or a camera, in his home that he has a little child, like a toddler. We ain't talking about like no grown kid. We talking about like a toddler, okay? And with that, the camera, y'all, it's when I tell you it was so graphic, and coming from somebody that has lived in a home of violence, my dad was very abusive to my mom, it triggered me. But basically on the camera, it's like a 2-minute clip showing him rag dogging this woman, throwing her across the room, throwing her into TVs, throwing her on the floor, throwing her on body slamming her on the stroller. And it when I tell you, I've seen a lot of stuff. I told you I've been through a lot. But to actually see this, fast forward to present day, to actually see this, fast forward to present day, not only did he sling her across the room, but DaBaby, y'all, was still in the living room crying profusely while he was doing all of this. And then after doing all of this, because she was calmly trying to tell him to stop and what are you doing and stuff like that. And after all of this is taking place, we you see it in the clip, he walks out the door before slamming it saying I love you. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, who does this? Okay, who does this? And I think he was like a ambassador or some kind of spokesperson for some kind of like young football league that they've now cut ties with him after the video came out. Apparently he had went on the run for a little while. Yes, it is crazy. He went on a run for a little while, and they eventually arrested him in Florida, okay, which I was so happy, so relieved. I think this is like 2 or 3 days later. They arrested him in Florida, on charges, of course, of what he did as far as, to that woman and in front of that child. But it was just so crazy at the amount of rage that was going through him when you saw it on the video. It wasn't just like a slap in the face. No, he literally picked her up several times and throwed her across the room into the TV, onto the stroller, onto the floor. And the fact that she was so calm and collected while this was going on, it let me know that this is not the first time that this has happened. She clearly had been accustomed to getting beat up by this man, because it sounded like she was trying to remain calm. One, because a child was in the room, and two, because she was trying to, as far as probably de-escalate his rage and anger and stuff. And I was reading in the comments, and somebody had the audacity to say, well, what did she do to make him go off like that? First of all, I don't care if she hadn't called this man all types of words, compound words, prevent, whatever the case. I don't care what. That does not give you a reason to physically assault somebody in the manner in which he did. Okay? It does not justify at all to assault somebody in the manner in which he did. And I hope that didn't flew my eye. Hold on, y'all. I think it's gonna flew my eye. But it does not give somebody the right to assault anybody in the manner in which he did, and make it okay. Hold on, y'all. Let me check on my eye, because I think something flew in it. I got these contacts in. All right, y'all. I think we good. I think I'm gonna live to see another day. I just had to make sure I didn't have a gnat floating around in my eye. But it does not. Oh shit! Look at that. I spit my drink. It does not give somebody right to assault somebody in the manner in which he did at all. And it just really made me mad to see that, she was being assaulted in this way, and the fact that she was so calm about it. That's what really took me up and triggered me, because I'm like, this is not the first time this has happened. That's the first thing I thought. I said, it's not the first time that it's happened. She's been through this before. When a person is that, when you're getting your ass beat and a person is that calm in the manner in which she was calm, trust me, that's not the first time that this has happened. It's not the first time that this has happened at all. So I just was really so relieved when I heard that he had been caught. I spilled my drink, y'all. Now I gotta get a towel, but the enemy just don't want me to sit here and get through this video. Hold on, y'all. So yeah, so that just bothered me. It bothered me so much. I didn't even want to watch. Mind you, I didn't even want to watch the video initially. I really didn't, because like I said, I have lived through that. What you saw on camera, that was my everyday life that I lived through for quite some time. And as of right now, I still do struggle with, I guess you could say, forgiving my father, not because I can't move on, but because we can't even have a talk, a civilized talk, and you can't even own up to what you did, knowing that you consistently beat my mom, and knowing that you did all of the things similar to what was done in this camera, if not worse. And it just breaks my heart, because that baby that was watching, thank God for one. I'm quite sure, even though when you're a toddler, you probably can't remember things, but I do hope that by that baby being a baby, it will lessen some of what he or she has seen done to, his or her mom. Because it traumatizes you. Like when stuff like that happens and you're a witness to that stuff, the mind as a child cannot grasp or it can't process what is going on, because it's just like you want to save this person, but you're feeling helpless, and that's how I felt. Even when I was young, I felt helpless. What could I do? Here it is, I'm supposed to love my parents, and here it is, I'm seeing one parent completely be volatile and hostile with another. So the fact that this baby was crying at the same time that the mom was being just thrown around the living room, body slam, and the fact that she was so cool, calm, and collect about it, it just let me know this is not the first time that this has happened. I'm gonna keep saying it's not the first time. She has been so conditioned to being beat up, being controlled, being manipulated, whatever the case. She probably think that this is love at this point. You know, I'm quite sure even after all of this is transpired, she probably is still going to try to defend that man. Okay, even though he probably don't deserve to even walk on earth, but she gonna still try to defend that man. A lot of times that's what happens, because you get stuck. And it's actually a scientific condition for that. When you are so accustomed to being in a certain type of environment and you find it hard to break away. I was watching a movie called Made. Well, not a movie, but it's a Netflix series, and it's called Made on Netflix. And it really, if you haven't watched it, check it out. It's called Made, MAID. But if you haven't watched it, check it out. But it gives you a very good perspective on, even though it wasn't physical abuse, but it was emotional abuse, definitely. Okay, it definitely shows a lot of what women go through, especially being emotionally abused and being emotionally manipulated and controlled. And I feel like that, a lot of times, like I said, people can get so accustomed to being treated a certain way that when they do get treated right by somebody else, excuse me, it's very hard for them to really grasp that concept, because you've been so conditioned that this is the way life is supposed to be. This is what love looks like. That's why you have a lot of dysfunctional people out here, even nowadays, because of the fact that they have been probably through some sort of ordeal or situation. And because of that, it has allowed them to basically, um, be an adult in a childlike mind, dealing with issues and not knowing how to, move past, because you've been so conditioned to a certain way. And I think that's the way abuse, as far as abuse, per se, as far as that subject, it looks like. So definitely shout out to the authorities. I'm so glad that he was arrested. Um, Unfortunately, I don't think that he's gonna be in jail forever, because of course it's not like he took a life, but it always does worry me, when people are violent towards people like that. And you always say, well, if they get 5 to 10 years, what are they going to be like after they get out? And I had read somewhere that he supposedly had some kind of, run in the past, which, as far as authorities, and I guess being abusive or mental issues, or just whatever the case. It's just a toxic situation. And if you do watch the video, just definitely be trigger warning, in advance, because I'm telling you, it was a hard video to watch. So the Chaka Khan and the Verzuz with Stephanie Mills. Okay, listen. Listen. Now, mind you, I didn't watch the first hour and 20 minutes, because I didn't even know there was a Shaka Khan in Versus. I was like, where in the world have I been at? Excuse me, let me politely walk my ass down this road in this imaginary concert theater of mine, and sit my ass on down, because I'm an avid lover of old school music. Okay, first of all, let me just put that out there. But when I saw that there was a Shaka Khan and Stephanie Mills, I thought, okay, I'm going to get the time of my life, get myself just completely just fulfilled with all kinds of good emotions, which I did. But baby, what was going on with Shaka? Because baby, she was looking like somebody, 1999 auntie, okay, drunk auntie at the picnic, honey. Between them moves that she call herself, them dance moves, okay. between, her slurring through the words. Okay, at one point, she had bent her kneecaps and she thought she was giving Megan Thee Stallion, and she realized, bitch, I can't sit here and get up off this floor if I fall, so I better not do this shit no more. And then at the end, when it was all said and done, before they cut her mic off, she handed it to the DJ. She was like, she tired of this shit. Okay, she just let y'all know, bitch, I'm tired of this. Okay, get this mic so I can get off stage and go back to drinking whatever it was or doing whatever it was I was doing before the show. Now, I don't know if Ciroc, who was the sponsor for this, had anything to do with why Chaka was so lit. And Chaka normally has high energy anyways. Let's just put that out there. She normally, just like Whitney Houston, a lot of times, and it used to irk me. A lot of times, people with Whitney Houston used to always say that they felt some kind of way because, they was like, she always high. Every time you turn around, but if you ever saw her, 9 times out of 10, Whitney was just really high energy. And you have people like that who are typically just really high energy and bubbly. But the other night for the Verzuz, it was more than high energy going on. And my mind was trying to accept the fact that this is just who Chaka was. But when it got to a certain point that she wasn't really even singing her songs and singing Stephanie Mills songs, and then at one point she even handed her mic to Stephanie, I said, oh, this bitch is strong. She lit. Okay, she ain't lit. She lit. Okay, she ain't drunk. This bitch is completely just wasted. Okay, completely just gone with the wind. I don't know what she was on. I don't know if she had done took the wrong thing or took some business. I don't know what was going on with Chaka. All I know is that she was out there two-stepping, slurring words, and about to fall over off the damn stage. Okay, I was just like, Lord, what is going on? And shout out to Stephanie Mills. Now, I have listened to Stephanie Mills' music. Feel the Fire is one of my favorite songs. But when I tell you, Stephanie Mills deserves all of the roses, all of the kudos, the grace, everything. She deserves sold out venues because sis really put on a show. Not only did she put on the show, but it was the camaraderie for me that she refused to let her sister in the industry be embarrassed on stage. Okay, and basically was, saving the show, okay, is what it was, because that's what it was. She was trying to save the show, and I think she probably had already knew. I think she had already knew in her mind what it was going to give. I'm quite sure she knows more than we know when it comes to Chaka and how she is. But when I tell you that the sis saved the show, okay, she saved the show completely. Now I did hear, because I mentioned that I didn't listen to the first hour and a half because I didn't even know it was going on. I still have to go back and watch it. But they said that the DJ was taking way too long at the beginning. Okay, they said the DJ was taking way too long at the beginning. They didn't understand why the DJ was playing the women's music selection as well. Normally when we see like people in the Verzuz, they have like old school music that kind of fits in with the artist's songs and stuff, like as far as that era. But from what I heard is that they were actually playing the Chaka and Stephanie Mills songs. I don't know if this is true because I haven't seen it with my own eyes, but that's what I heard though. And if that is true, I mean, on one hand, I could definitely see why people would feel some kind of way, but on the other hand, I mean, it really would not make me any difference because that's what we're there for anyways. Yeah, so I did. I heard that as well. I heard as well. Kamal is that they had Chaka, who was really late, and I'm quite sure that the reason why she was late is because she probably was back there, okay, getting lit, okay. And if it was Ciroc, because we don't know what it was that she was on, but if it was Ciroc, they don't need to serve no more alcohol to any of the people until they done did their whole, whatever. Because baby, when I tell you, it was the comments for me, okay, they were going in. And at one point, it was a key, but then at some point my mind stopped and I got to thinking, I was like, did they not like I guess that's what made me kind of like not really understand. And when I think about it now, I'm really like, okay, it can't be the Ciroc that she was on, because for her to be that lit, she would have had to been long ago doing whatever she was doing before she came on stage. So clearly they had to have seen that she was in this state before she even hit the stage. Now I'm quite sure they couldn't just say, oh, we're gonna cancel the show. But baby, she was just completely gone. Okay. Chaka had done checked out of the motel mentally, got into her Buick and drove away down memory lane, because she just was like, I am not here for the shenanigans. Okay. I really don't even feel like doing this show. It was just giving me very much that. Like, I just did not understand. Like I said, I've seen Chaka. We saw her at Aretha funeral. Even at Aretha funeral, she seemed more composed, than she was at this concert, even though she's always been kind of like really, like I said, a high spirited person. But this was just a whole different kind of side that I had never seen, because I don't really watch like a lot of her live tour videos on, like, not like current day. Like, I've seen stuff on YouTube in the past, but it just was really weird, y'all. It was really weird. But when I tell you that I love the song selection that they did, as a matter of fact, I've been playing it all day long. Shout out to the song selection, even though I did not know why they did not play Through the Fire on Chaka, especially after Stephanie Mills had done Feel the Fire. And so I was just like, okay, when are they going to do that song? Now, I don't know, maybe if they did it at the beginning or so, but I did hear somebody say that they did not do that song. She did not want to do the show. I think this was her way of getting back to those who convinced her to do the show. Oh, well, if that's the case, then that explains a lot. Because I'm telling you, it just seemed like she had unchecked out in her head. Okay. It sounded like somebody had done told her this is not rent free no more. And baby, you got to go. And she was like, "What the hell with it? I'm packing my bags and I'm going." She had unchecked out. Okay. She didn't seem like she was too much more interested into doing her own songs. Okay. And then what tickled me the most is that she didn't want to do her songs, okay? But when Stephanie Mills sung, she couldn't stop singing, okay? At some point, she started singing her songs. I just didn't understand, okay? I didn't understand. I said, first of all, when her songs came on, Stephanie Mills may as well say it had been called a Stephanie Mills concert, because Stephanie Mills was singing all of her songs, period, alone, solo, okay? Even when Chaka's daughter came up there, which I don't know what she had on, people was really dragging her on Chaka's daughter. I mean, I didn't even think that the girl sounded terrible. And even though I didn't like her outfit, I thought her outfit was a little bit not fitted for the moment. Okay. It was giving me very much WWE SmackDown, okay, female version. But I felt like that the vocals, she did all right. But I would have liked to seen her and Chaka be a little bit more on one accord and sync, because Chaka was way over there, and even her daughter had mentioned, "You way over there. I'm up here singing your song. You supposed to be right here by my side, and your ass way over there with Stephanie." Okay, it just was a lot of disconnected things going on. And right, we all know that she can blow. That's the thing, and that's why I do think. That's why I do believe that a lot of people overlook what Chaka, because we all know Chaka has made it no secret that she has dealt with, substance abuse issues and all types of sorts. But I just think that at a particular point, Chaka, hey Royal, Chaka is just at a point to where she's like, you know what? I done seen what this industry give. I have nothing to prove to anybody. I'm gonna do things my way, and if y'all don't like it, y'all can kick rocks and kiss my you know what. Because that's very much what it gave. You heard when she went off stage, she said, "I'm tired of this shit." So that let you know right there, she was over it. Okay. She was over it. Over it. She was like, "I've been ready to leave." As a matter of fact, she had done said goodnight, and they came on and played another song after she said goodnight the first time. Okay. She thought she was about to sit here and bounce and check out. Child, they had done turned the song on, and her ass was like, "Child, here we go again." Okay. She was up there being forced to sit here and put on a good united front. But she was ready. Chaka was ready to go to bed. She was ready to go to bed. Okay, she was long ready to go to bed. Okay, Chaka was just not interested. Now, all aside from all the foolery that we saw, like I said, Chaka, she will always blow. And even when she did, gosh, I can't think, was that Ain't Nobody, or it was another song? Anyways, when she hit them high notes, she hit them high notes. Now, don't y'all can say what y'all want, but Chaka hit them high notes. Okay, she gave y'all that. Love you, mean I met you. She was getting it. Okay, she was getting it. Ain't nobody makes me feel this way. She was getting it. She was getting it. She was like, oh, bitch, don't get it twisted. Okay, just because I'm over here, okay, leaning to the side, tipping on fofos, don't mean that I can't sit here and give y'all what it needs to be sitting here and giving. She was giving it, okay, when she wanted to give it. Okay, but she was just, Child Chaka was tired. Okay, she was tired and she was through and she was ready to go. Okay, y'all had done got on her everlasting nerves. Okay, she was ready to go. Okay, pieces. Somebody said it's the Aries. I guess it is. Maybe that's what it is. It's the Aries. But either way, aside from all of that, Sergio Hudson, shout out to Sergio Hudson. He dressed Stephanie Mills, and I forgot the other person's name that dressed Chaka, but whoever did Chaka hair did her makeup, which I'm guessing that her hairdresser has been a long time hairdresser, because Chaka has always given good hair. I love the texture. It's a lot of body volume in it. You know, it just, no matter whether you shake it or go all the way around like a helicopter, it falls back into place. I have always loved, and nobody can do like that burgundy reddish like Chaka can. Like, it was like, I like Stephanie Mills' hair, but it was no way in the world giving what the assignment needed to be given when you looked at Chaka's hair. Chaka has always given good hair to me. She looked it great now. Don't get it twisted. She looked it great. She looked it great. And I do believe that regardless of whatever happened tonight, she is still going to be considered legendary, and she's still going to sell out shows, and her streaming on Apple, iTunes are still, Spotify are still going to go up, okay, as they normally do when people do Verzuz. So I mean, it's still going to be a win-win for everybody. But you know, I know a lot of people, you know, like I said, they was joking on Chaka, but y'all just got to understand, the lady is just at a point to where she just is, she over it. You know, she done everything in this music industry, okay? Hell, for that matter, Patti LaBelle don't even sing her songs and sometimes forget her damn lyrics, okay, when she at her concerts. You think that she care? No, okay? Patty just like, I'm here, okay, to do the assignment and take and go home. And that's it, okay? I ain't got to sit here and prove myself, make y'all buy into it. If you don't buy into it, oh well, it is what it is. Okay, that's just what it is. But I was going to call out the playlist before I got off of here. That's what I was doing. I'm gonna bring it up. So I had pulled up a playlist of Chaka, the Verzuz cheat sheet. So these are the songs that she did, or that Stephanie Mills and Chaka did. And let me just say, shout out to Stephanie Mills, because I didn't realize, this just go to show that clearly I have been sleeping on Stephanie Mills. I did not realize how great of a catalog Stephanie Mills has. That catalog, especially the song that was my first time hearing it, called Secret Lady, I think it's called. Absolutely wonderful. Love the catalog, the entire from start to finish. But I downloaded the playlist, and so they did Ain't Nobody by Chaka, Home by Stephanie Mills, Do You Love What You Feel by Rufus and Chaka, If I Were Your Woman by Stephanie Mills, I Know You, I Live You by Chaka, Something in This Way, You Make Me Feel by Stephanie, Hollywood by Rufus featuring Chaka, I Feel Good All Over, Stephanie Mills, Love You All My Lifetime, Chaka Khan, Secret Lady, Stephanie Mills, the single version, Love Me Still, Comfort of a Man, Stephanie Mills, What You Gonna Do For Me, Chaka, Rising Desire, Stephanie, through the fire, Chaka. I have learned to respect the power of love, Stephanie Mills. This is my night, Chaka Khan. I'm more than a woman, Stephanie Mills. Two Hearts featuring the Teddy Pendergrass, Stephanie Mills. Tell me something good, Rufus. Featuring Chaka, Field of Fire, Stephanie Mills. Sweet Thing, Rufus. Put your body in it, Stephanie Mills. I'll be good to you, Quincy Jones. I'm guessing that's either Stephanie or Chaka. What you gonna? Oh, that's Chaka, I think. Well, it says featuring Ray Charles. What you gonna do with my love, Stephanie? Angel, Chaka, I feel good all over, Stephanie. Fate, WSM compilation edit, Chaka. So good, so right, Stephanie. Stay, Rufus. Last night, Stephanie Mills. Back in the day, Chaka. You're putting the rush on me. Stephanie Mills, Everlasting Love. Rufus featuring Chaka. Can't Change My Ways, Stephanie Mills. Missing You, Brandy Tamia, Gladys Knight, and Chaka. I didn't know they did that song. On the Verzuz. Fool's Paradise, Rufus featuring Chaka. Love Hasn't Been Easy on Me, Stephanie Mills. I'll Put a Spell on You, Chaka. How Come You Don't Call Me Anymore, Stephanie Mills. You Got the Love featuring Chaka Khan, Rufus. The Passion and the Pain, Stephanie Mills. The Woman I Am, Chaka. I Knew It Was Love, Stephanie Mills. We Can Work It Out, Chaka Khan. Where Is the Love, Stephanie Mills and Robert Brookins. Never Miss the Water, Chaka Khan. Real Love extended vocal version, Stephanie Mills. Like Sugar, Chaka Khan, and Stand Back radio version, Stephanie Mills. Completely, absolutely respect to all of the old school. Let me tell you, anybody that knows me personally, if you ever roll with me, you will know I am for the old school all day, every day. Y'all can have this new school. And when I tell you, Stephanie Mills she carried on all night long. She looked it good. She sounded good. Vocals on point. You know, it's really hard because I don't even think she was singing to like an actual vocal. It was the background track, but she was actually doing her own vocals, period. And to be able to sound just like what you sound like on the studio album is hard to do. Not many people can do that. Some of the people that can do that is Beyonce. Fantasia sounds like what she sounds like on studio album. Stephanie Mills apparently sounds like what she sounds like on studio album. Whitney Houston, Luther Vandross. Who else have I heard? Johnny Gill. He sounds like what he sounds like in studio. Brandy, Monica. It's very hard to sound like what you sound like in studio. Not many people can do that. Not many people can do that. So shout out to that. Now, I don't know if they have it in the works, but I'm still waiting for Mary J. Blige and Faith Evans because that's the only mashup that I can see between those two women with one another as far as the opposite opponent. But I want to see them. I hope that they're going to do them at some point because that would be awesome. When I tell y'all, it's going to be completely high boots, shades, okay, and a hat for me the whole entire night. So I hope that Verzuz is working on something with Mary J. Blige coming up because I would love to see her on Verzuz. I'm quite sure they are. They probably just got to get everything lined up. But first, before they do that, they need to work on IG because IG paused up for me. It was giving dial-up modem AT&T $19.99 the whole entire night. Pausing after pause after pause. So I finally gave up and just went to YouTube to watch it. Ashanti and Lettucey. Yes, Ashanti and Lettucey definitely a sound like Aretha Franklin sounds like what she sounds like on album. It's quite a few artists, Celine Dion. It's quite a few artists that sounds like what they sound like on the album as well as in live concert. Patti LaBelle. I mean, the list goes on, but these new artists though, I mean, it's a very rare thing. The only new artist that I can think of if people had to ask me a question right away and I had to answer it right away would be definitely Jasmine Sullivan without a shadow of a doubt. Sounds exactly, if not better, than what she sounds like on studio album. And Ari Lennox sounds amazing, okay, when singing. And I think Summer Walker as well. She sounds pretty good. in live concert. So yeah, y'all, it's just been a crazy week, y'all. It's been just a whole lot in the news and stuff. Crazy stuff been going on. Unfortunately, I had to kind of take some time off to myself, for health reasons and stuff to try to allow my body to catch back up with itself. I haven't been feeling well, but I am feeling much better now that I have been trying to get more rest. I did go and get my booster shot today, which I'm kind of feeling the effects of it now. So I am going to go and get some rest. But I just wanted to come on here because I miss you all greatly. I've been missing you all so much, and I was like, I need to come on here and see y'all because y'all like my second family. The newer artists will not sound like their recordings. Yes, it's that damn auto tune. That auto tune gets it every single time. It gets it every single time. Somebody had said a comment. It was a comment up ahead. Hold on, y'all. I'll go back up in the comments. Blogging tees. What are your type of guys? And my question is, why do these new age kids try to force verse world? Sorry. First force verse world now as a gay man. That's the question. So to answer that question, I don't really have a type. I mean, I have a type, but I don't have a type. And the reason why I say that is because my taste in, if you just want to speak on the guy side, not the women, has been definitely guys from all walks of life. I guess if I had to narrow it down, I think intelligence, your energy, hygiene, like I look for a lot of things when I'm looking as far as attraction, because you can be a good looking guy, but if some things are off, like what I mentioned, it's not going to do it for me at all. So it's got to be something that I'm drawn in that intrigues my mental being. I would say that would be the question to my answer. I mean, the answer to your question. And as far as the other question, um, you know, I mean, with that, when it comes to being versed and stuff, I mean, I used to be so into, I used to think that labels was all that mattered back in the day, but now I just kind of feel like that people are so accustomed to, and I think I spoke on this in another live, no fats or films. When you see dating profiles, what does it really mean when people say no fats or films? Meaning that no fat people, no people with high feminine energy. I just don't believe in all of that foolery. Okay, tomfoolery, because I think at the end of the day, the people that are not are saying that they don't want that are the people that are very much giving that. Okay, so that's a read in itself, first of all. Second of all, I do feel like that people are so caught up and superficial of the physical form that they forget anything behind the physical form, because when all that physical die away, when you're no longer able to perform in bed like you perform, you got to have something that's going to keep you attracted to the person that you're attracted to. So whether you're a bottom, top, versatile, that all is cute, but when you are, and this goes for anybody, straight or gay, when the physical form wears off, you got to have something that's going to keep you attracted to the person that you supposedly in a relationship with. That's if you're dating or married to someone. So yeah, don't depend on a type for a relationship. Be the person you want to attract, and that's what I try to be. That's what I try to be, definitely. Oh no, I don't know if it's a booster. Sorry, y'all. I don't know if it's the booster shot, but my throat is so dry. But yes, and that's what I've had to learn. That was my takeaway in a lot of this, is that I have come to realize that if I was to, as far as want a person right now, if I was, wanting a relationship and dating, I would definitely want somebody that has the same, because I speak on this a lot, being equally yoked. It doesn't matter what a person does or makes. If you're not equally yoked with a person, it's not going to work. So I want somebody that wants or has the same ideals or beliefs as me, or has the same ambitions visions as me. I don't want to be like I think it goes without saying I am no longer in a position of being able to pour out of a half empty glass into another person when all they do is completely drain me dry. And I mean that on every aspect. I can't explain how many times I have poured so many of my resources, time, energy, soul into people, and I have gotten nothing in return as far as on a dating or trying to pursue you level. So what I had to come to realize is that sometimes you got to stop doing, you just got to stop and just have a cutoff point, because what happens is that you will continue to pour and pour until your glass is empty. And now you have nothing to give because you have literally been drained completely dry from your soul, spirit, mind, just no matter what, you've been drained. And so now, as a 33-year-old man, um, I definitely would like to have somebody that can pour back into me as well as I do them. I think that's the biggest thing that I ask for. I don't ask for much. I just ask for consistency. Consistency. Um, of course, there has to be some sort of physical attraction. I mean, let's be for real. If you're not attracted to the person that you're trying to pursue in some form, shape, or fashion, it's not going to work. People say that in the bedroom. Hey there, boo. People say that in the bedroom. What's going on? Yes, come on in. People say that in the bedroom it doesn't matter, but it really does matter. And it's not even about the sex. Intimacy goes so much deeper than just you two banging each other out. Y'all got to have some sort of one accord vibe, um, energy when it comes to being intimate. You all got to understand one another's love language. Because I think that's important. You got to understand your partner and understand what really touches the inner core of their soul. So I think that plays a huge part, as far as when it comes to, you know, what I look for in a person. I would definitely say that. Chemistry, yes. Chemistry, definitely chemistry for sure. And so um that's why now, like, it's not that I'm not dating or not looking. It's just that I've had to have, and like I said, I don't want to force any of my beliefs on anybody in this chat. This is just for me. But I've had to have some talks with God, and I've had to come to some understandings. And what my understandings have become, even though I do constantly wrestle with it, as we all, because your flesh is always going to try to overrule and overpower you. Yeah, I like sex just like the next person. Okay. There are many times that I be thinking in my mind, like, ooh, if only, when I do get the temptation presented in front of me, it takes a lot to either resist or either to walk away. And sometimes it don't even happen because I always say it's just a sign from God. It was never supposed to happen anyways, and something always ends up blocking it. So it's just like now I've made a choice. And I think a lot of that has happened to me because of the fact that I had a talk with God and I made a choice. I was like, look, I can no longer give myself away, freely and not see any return or reciprocation in return. I just can't do it. I'm not set up like that. It took me a while. And, I think that sometimes people try to make you feel bad. People, people try to make you feel bad because of the fact that you are not the type to just hook up with a person off the fly. But I've had to come to understand there's nothing wrong with being emotionally intertwined with yourself, that it makes it hard for you to not meet a person and not fall for them. because your emotions always are on your shoulder, and you're so transparent with it, and you're so transparent with being vulnerable. I don't think it's anything wrong with that at all. I really do feel like that at this point, that's who I am. I'm not going to change for anybody. I've tried to change before because I felt like that, oh, it'll just be easy just to be a thug out here, or just to be a don't care, nonchalant person, and give the same energy that people give back towards me. But I've come to realize that it's okay with who I am. That's what makes me unique, is that I can't help that I have a heart, okay, that a lot of people don't have, as far as in a sense of when it comes to caring and having thoughts and feelings for someone. So for that reason alone, I just decided that I'm not hooking up like that on a frequent basis anyways. I'm not saying that it won't happen ever, but I'm definitely not going to just do it intentionally again. And like I said, I've been tempted. I mean, I even had a temptation about 2 days ago, and it was so funny because I really was going to go through with it, even though I was having this talk inside my head, and then it didn't even work out. So that was a sign from God, like you weren't even supposed to have even been in that situation anyway. So let it go. So yeah, so that's that. Yes, that's true. They will come when you stop looking. But to answer your question about the cooking show, so yes, I was doing a cooking show, and it was actually it went really better than I expected. But I didn't know if cooking, because I come to realize that cooking is hard work. It's hard work. Like, it was really hard work. Y'all don't understand. I was tired by the time I got through that damn cooking show. And I do want to bring it back, but I guess I've been trying to find a format that works better. I need to get with somebody who actually knows about cooking, and I have somebody that is actually I think could be helpful to me, because my only thing is that when I did my cooking show, I don't think I was as organized as I could have been, which is a lot of reason why, the natural mess ups and things that would go wrong happen. And that was the idea of the show, is that it was to show you and me trying to learn how to cook. But I actually would love to learn how to cook, but I gotta figure out how to work smarter, not harder. Because when I went back and watched those episodes, it's a lot of stuff that I could have definitely done different, if I just really like planned it out better, and figured out a way, excuse me, to where everything works. One of my biggest things is that I really wanted to cut down on time and make it to where it's like an hour and a half instead of 2 hours, or an hour and 20 minutes, because I know people on a Friday night be having stuff going on. And I was so worried that, a lot of people wasn't going to really tune in if I kept it too long. So that was one of my things. Reach out to Jack. Yes, Jack, the lady with the blonde hair. I've seen her. I'm gonna definitely reach out to her. I think she's in the Atlanta area. Yes, and that's other thing. I think, simple dishes kind of would work better for me to start off as well. Because y'all, let me tell you, if you depending on me to cook Thanksgiving dinner, baby, it's not happening. I'm sorry, y'all, it's not my ministry. I will be on the floor before the first hour fall by, trying to make a whole 3-course meal and the dessert. I just don't see it happening at all. Hey, friend, I don't see it happening at all. But other than that, though, do you have any other questions? Anybody have any questions? You can ask me anything. I'm very transparent. I can't believe it's 9 o'clock. Time flies. But y'all in here tonight, though. So let me just give it. I'm trying to give y'all a little bit. I got it's the hour and 44 minutes. So probably at the 2 hour mark, I'm gonna cut off. But anybody got any questions for me? Anybody want to know anything? Feel free to ask. You got any questions about advice that you need? like anything. Like this is kind of the moment where I try to, as far as interact with the people in the comments because I do love y'all. I think of y'all like my second family. Okay, I call y'all my fun sizers and stuff. That's my little nickname for my, watchers and stuff, my fun sizers, because I'm so tall. Y'all like the fun size edition, right? Yes. Take some zinc and vitamin C. Yes, I definitely need to because I really feel I'm starting to feel the effects of that booster shot, and I'm so worried that it's going to suppress my immune system. A cornbread dressing would be fun to make. Now, I haven't thought about that. Matter of fact, let me write that down. I'll put it in my phone. I haven't thought about that. Cornbread dressing, that sounds interesting. It isn't that shouldn't be hard to make, right? Where's my phone at? Oh, here you go. Cornbread dressing. Let me put that down in my notes. Right, that part. 5'2". God, Lee, you really are fun size. You really are fun size. All right, corn, put that down. Cornbread dressing. Okay, while I wait for y'all to ask me some questions real quick, I'm gonna go get me something else to drink because my throat is so dry, y'all. Hold on. That ice maker is off. Well, you must have turned it on. All right, y'all, I'm back. I had to get something to drink. My throat was about to kill me. Oh, Lord Jesus. Take a full spoonful of honey. Okay. It's funny you mention that because I actually do have some honey. Woo! So much better. All right. Anybody got no questions and stuff? Okay. So look, so the other thing that I was wanting to mention, um, so I talk a lot about depression. And I was having a talk. Shout out to Sophia. I don't know if you all know Sophia. She's a really awesome, funny, hilarious comedian MC that has been known around the nation, Sophia McIntosh. And she now has her own show at We Are You Radio. Shout out to We Are You Radio. She does a lot of the gay pageants as far as MCing. She has also been, she also used to work for the radio station here in Atlanta. I can't think of that man's name to save my life. I think it's Frank Ski. Is it Frank Ski? I think it's Frank Ski. But anyway, so we was having a talk and things, and we was having a talk and things, and she was, basically telling me the last time I came to the radio station for like an interview. But we was basically, just talking, like, just regular talking, and I was telling her about how I had took a break from my channel. And this would kind of, be a segue into, why also I ended up, well, I guess explaining why I don't come on as often. Why I don't come on as often as I would like to. or whatever. So I was telling her that, I'm not really into the content thing of, covering things as far as like what goes on between like hot topics when it comes to like drama. Let's just say if it was Cardi B and somebody Cardi B had uncussed out and got into drama too. I have no desire to cover anything like that because the person that I am in me, I can't pull from anything and make that into any kind of life lesson. And most of what I do or cover or desire to talk about, it has to be some kind of substance behind it. It's not, like I told you, it's not even about the money for me making on YouTube because of the fact that I work, an actual job every day. And, I support myself. And even though, I'm not like an overly rich person, but I'm just like every other American. I go to work, I pay my bills, da 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 da, and then every now and then YouTube kind of becomes my outlet to be able to reach people. So yeah, even though I'm thankful, that I'm able to have a channel to where I finally was able to reach over 1,000 subscribers. And I thank each and every one of you because without you all, I could have not done it. But my main objective for this channel is that I try to leave people with something to think about. Excuse me. I try to challenge people, something to think about, because I want people to understand that even though I'm quite sure, even people that's on here watching me now, I'm quite sure you got something going on crazy in your life right now. You may have something going on to where you don't see your way out. You don't know how you're going to find your way out. You feel like that nobody, cares about you. And those are the kind of things that I really cater to because I want people to feel empowered because I understand what it's like to want to be seen and not heard and you don't feel like you're seen or you don't feel like that you're being heard or you don't feel like that people care. And it's always been my passion to want to make people feel cared about. Even though because of things that I've had to happen in the past, I've of course had to set boundaries on YouTube because I've learned very quickly what this YouTube life can do to you if you let the wrong people get into your personal life. When I say personal life, meaning that, sometimes I may have people who have watched me. They may drop in my DMs and it may sometimes I've just had weird. I'm just gonna keep it transparent. I've had some very weird stuff to happen as a part as a result of being on YouTube. And that was one of the things I really most fear as being an introvert is when it comes to my private life off of YouTube. I'm always, very self-conscious about people, at what point do I set a boundary? I guess if that makes sense. But at the same time, I still want to make people feel like that we're one and one connected because I really do care about everyone and I want to see the best for everyone. So, that's why I try to interact as much as I can on here whenever I see you all leave comments. If for some reason I do get a DM and I feel like that is done in a respectful way, I may or may not answer it, but I may answer it. Just those things. But I say all of that to say that depression and anxiety has been something that I have struggled with for so long. And I ask myself every day because I don't think people really grasp the concept of how much it is. I mean, when people see me on the outside, they see me well put together. I try to put a smile on my face, but deep underlying issues, and this was some of the stuff that I had talked about with Sophia when I was at the radio station and did the interview, is that there are a lot of underlying issues that I do suffer with daily, and I suffer in silence because I never want to be that person to be a burden on people, and people feel I don't know. I just never been that person to want to be that burden. And I know that you're supposed to have people that you can lean on, but for some reason, I just always felt like that what I was going through was my own battle to fight. But what I've had to come to realize is that what I go through and what I have dealt with, maybe somebody else's battle. And it's okay, if I share that. So that's what I try to do, even though I do cover certain things and I do talk about certain things, but I also want to make sure people understand that the concept of my channel, also in addition to talking about certain, maybe a certain story that comes up, as far as like if somebody lost their life, I try to highlight those people in remembrance. But I also want people to understand the concept that I do want this channel to be about helping people feel empowered. Um, I feel like, especially in my community, in the lane that I am in, there's not enough people out there that really promote positivity and really try to uplift, people, because there's a lot of people suffering silently. I'm not just the only one. There's a lot of people suffering in silence. And I just want people to know that you don't have to feel alone. That you don't have to feel alone. So I'm a Scorpio. And yes, extreme anxiety is terrible. Like and I've talked about it in the past, and a lot of my depression has had to do with I have in the past just dealt with so much childhood trauma, whether it was being violated sexually by family members, whether it was the lack of my father not in my life or him being abusive to my mother. It's just been so much childhood trauma that I went through that it has trickled over into my adult years. So even though I do live an adult life, but there are times to where the inner child, when I say child, I mean the inner child mindset that's within me sometimes has this void that I try to feel. And as a result of that, I do feel like that is a catalyst towards me being depressed. And I'm not just talking about like, oh, I'm depressed and it's whatever. I don't have any ambitions, because I definitely have ambitions. I definitely keep myself occupied. I definitely set goals for myself. But when I get through doing all of what is required of me as an adult, um, I check out. When I'm home, I check out. It's easy for me to check out. I don't sleep well at night. I'm very much up late at night because my mind tosses and turns, because for whatever reason, it's like my anxiety, it ramps up. The later it gets at night, the more I become anxious. I don't sleep well. I don't really do well with being a morning person, because for some reason I've been up all night and now I can't function. It's just a lot that goes on. And then on top of that, because I do battle a chronic illness, sickle cell anemia, it takes a lot out of me. And there's just so many things, because I'm a thinker. And I think that's the problem, is that I'm a thinker. There's so many things that I always wonder and think, would life have been different if X, Y, and Z would have not happened? It took me a while to come to terms with my sexual identity, because I've never felt that I was born gay. And the reason, and I know people say that, I know that's been a long discussed topic. I know that's been a long discussed topic in the gay community. Oh, I was born gay. I'm just born like this. Well, I don't feel I was born that way. Um, I definitely don't feel I was born that way. And the reason for that is because from from the time that I was maybe like 6 until maybe I was like 17, all I ever knew was the touch of another man. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything else as far as when it comes to my body and what attraction looks like. I just knew the touch of another man. And when I say the touch of another man, I'm talking about being violated by people that were men. And not just people that were men, but people in my family. And so as a result, by the time I got in my teenage years, that's all I was accustomed to. That's all I knew. So yeah, I did have moments to where I recall um trying to dress up like a female, or being in kindergarten and having these unexplained um things in my head that I couldn't understand as a child, as far as playing with other boys in kindergarten and stuff. But I also, in between times going through school, had an attraction to women. I had a girlfriend, for a short time from middle school to high school. And I also dated someone in high school that was a female. But I do feel like that because I have experienced certain traumas that has affected the way I was processing things as far as in my head. I feel like that this is what I was accustomed to. This is what I knew love to be. This is what I knew what it felt like to be intimate, and that was with a man. Period. Um, as far as me having sexual relations with a woman, I have had those with a woman. Have I engaged in full on relations with a woman? And when I say full on, I think you can kind of get my drift of what I'm getting at. I've never went that far, but I've definitely had relations. Um, and when I did do those things, it did feel normal. It didn't feel like what a lot of gay men would say, oh, it feels awkward. It just feels, icky and whatever. No, it felt normal. But I think there just was always some struggle with trying to figure out exactly where did I fit in, because once again, all I ever knew at an early age was the touch of another male. So it's caused great conflict um, because of that. And it's caused other conflicts, like I said, as far as my mental state. I haven't. I've definitely done the. I have dabbled in like THC, hemp oil, stuff like that. AC, um, the edibles. I've tried that. They do work well. Um, I'm always just afraid of, I guess, that I might get hooked on that stuff and may have trouble getting off of it. I think that's my only thing with it. So I think if I knew that they were like safe and not non-addictive, maybe I would be more prone to it. Um, but yeah, I literally go days without sleeping. Yeah, I mean, it's a real thing, insomnia and anxiety. Would I go all the way? I definitely have said that with the right person, I would. But I do feel like that at this point, and this is something that I regret deeply. I do regret coming out, even though I own it. I do own it now. Don't get it wrong. I do own my sexuality now as a bisexual male, because it is what it is. But I do regret coming out. With all of that being said, I regret coming out being gay, you know, before I identified as bisexual. And the reason for that is because what I have found trouble with is that women feel intimidated and they find it very difficult to date someone that's been with a man. It's a certain barrier. And it's no disrespect, I understand, because if I was a woman and I had that situation put in front of me, maybe I would feel some kind of way too. But I have found it difficult that women find it difficult to process the fact that this guy who I am being intimate with has been with another man, and that's something that I cannot compete with. And that's for that reason alone is why I do at times regret coming out, because I feel like that it has taken away the opportunity for me to get to know a female if I chose to go down that road. I think what people fail to realize is that if it came down to me, as far as being with a female, if that was my destiny, I would not be the person to dibble dabble or swerve in the lanes messing with a guy at the same time. That would not be me. If I'm dating a woman, I'm dating a woman. If I'm dating a man, I'm dating a man. There's no zigzagging in between. I'm not that kind of person to say, oh, this day I'm going to be doing this, but this day I'm going to be. No, that's that's that has always been my rule. Whatever you choose to do, you stay with that until you're not with it anymore. And if you choose not to be with that person anymore of that sex, then you know you leave it there and you do whatever you do and you stick with that. But there's no zigzagging, because I feel like that's where a lot of people that find themselves in situations of they don't know which route they're taking. It's a lot of toxic stuff going on in their lives. You're putting yourself health wise at risk. It's just a lot to think about. So I've always made that rule that if I am dating a woman, I'm dating a woman strictly at that particular period. There's no zigzagging. Bisexual is to straight people equates to gay. It does. I'm glad you said that. It does. Hey, Anthony. Um, it does, and that's the biggest thing. That's the that is the biggest thing that I find with people that I mentioned earlier in this comment right here is that it's not, even though you identify as bisexual, people don't see it, especially women. When I say people, I'm speaking to women. Women don't see this. They see gay. That's it. There's no, oh, he's bisexual. No, if he's with a man, he's gay. Period. I can understand that. I'm a person of reason. I'm a person of reason. I can understand why. Thank you, Diamond Girl. I can understand why they will understand that. I mean, they would say that because that goes back to what I'm saying. A woman cannot unsee in her mind the thoughts of her boyfriend or husband has been with another man. That equates to her in her head psychologically as being gay. Period. There's no gray area. There's no in between. So when I say that I regret coming out, that's the reason why. Because I want to be given a fair chance. And I feel like that chance unfortunately gets taken away from me quite often that I would care to admit, because of the fact that people don't see it, women don't see it that way. Um somebody somebody said, I just want to say I'm a woman and I don't see it that way. If you are bi, then you are bi. I have no problem with that. Cuddy Black, I definitely commend you on that. I definitely commend you on that a lot, because I mean, and there are a few women. Now, I'm glad you mentioned it, Cuddy Black, because what led to me identifying as bisexual, like really owning it, is because, and this is kind of a funny story. I've talked about it, but I haven't talked about it in this as far as in depth. So about 3 or 4 years ago, when I first moved out here to where I'm at now in Atlanta, I was going to this church and I met this older woman. Now, in my past, after I hit 21, for some reason, I found myself in situations with older females. Um, and it was not intentionally, it just was the way it happened. Once again, if you know me off camera, you know that I'm an old soul. So maybe that could be why, I don't know. But with that being said, I met this older woman when I had went to this church. The church that I went to, it was not like the church that I had been going to, which was pretty much a gay-friendly church. And I'm not saying that this church that I stumbled upon was not gay-friendly. It's just that the church that I was going to prior to that church where I met this woman at has a gay pastor with a gay husband. Okay, so you follow me with that. Thank you, Anthony. So you follow me with that. Okay. So what happened is that I wasn't looking. I had no intentions. I simply went to Bible study one night. And I met this woman. Okay. This woman was at the time I was maybe like 27, 26, somewhere around there. So me and this woman became very close. Now, at the time that I was like 27-ish, I think it was, she was twice my age. As a matter of fact, her oldest son, her only child, but her child was like the same age that I was. So that just kind of give you an idea of how old she was. So she was like in her 50s or maybe like 51. So long story short, I became close to this woman, okay, unbeknownst to me. I had no intentions. We was just cool friends, kicking it, whatever the case. I had joined the choir. We would go on trips, the whole 9 yards, all of that, right? Okay, cool. So what happened is that eventually, there was a situation that happened, and with the situation that happened, we ended up becoming closer. And that situation that happened was that I had sex with a guy. Okay. And this person that I had sex with, something happened with this person. Okay. I won't say what it was, but something happened with this person. And whatever happened with this person that I had sex with, it literally traumatized me because I didn't know how to handle it because of my feelings. Once again, I spoke on those things about my emotional feelings not being in control and mastered. So unfortunately, I had let down my guard, and I was very traumatized. Like it really hurted me. And this woman was the person that I reached out to for guidance because I didn't know who else to turn to. She was like it was almost like she became a mentor in a sense, but not really though. Like not really. But that's what it felt like. So long story short, somehow I was led to call her. I told her about the situation. And ever since that day we became close. Now, fast forward as time progressed. This was during the time that I really felt lost. I didn't really know my identity. I didn't really know who I was. I didn't really know if I was gay or straight, confused. I was going through it. Like I was going through it. Like it was bad, y'all. It was so bad. And so she literally every single day would do everything in her power to check on me, to try to make me feel better. And as a result of us talking so much and being in so, as far as contact like that, and, her seeing my vulnerable side, we ended up becoming close. And one day I told her out the blue that I think I said something to the extent of I was attracted to her or something like that. And, she was just like, oh, really? And like, just like, I guess the typical way a woman would respond, um, of her stature. I'm just in my head guessing, but I told her I was attracted to her. And so from that point on, things kind of started shifting, because now it's like it went from being a friendship, mentor type of thing, to now I'm kind of falling for this person because she has saw my vulnerability and I feel like I can be myself around her. So fast forward some more, um, because of a certain situation, I ended up becoming her roommate. Okay, she had a big house. She was living by herself. I was trying to get back on my feet at the time because I had just entered the workforce, and we basically, were roommates. Now, during that course of us being roommates, um, we became even closer. Like, I always say it's much different when you live with a person, because you really start to understand a lot about them. And I think that's what was happening to us, is that it became, oh, we know each other, like we know each other, know each other. So, long story short, time went by, and one night I felt a little frisky, child, and one thing led to another, and we were naked, and y'all get the picture. But we didn't do anything, okay? And the reason why I stopped it is because of the fact that I had to think about, you're living in this woman's house as her roommate. You're living in this woman's house with her roommate, and as a result of that, you gotta think about boundaries. But because I did not go through with it, that was rejection to her. And I understand that was fair. That was a fair assessment. So then, after all of that had transpired, things kind of started becoming more awkward, because now you've crossed certain lines. And this is what I always try to say, you got to be careful about how you are with people in friendships, because once you cross certain lines, it's hard to undo what you've already done. Okay. And even though we didn't do what we intended on doing, because I stopped it, but you done seen things you can't unsee. You get my drift. So of course now, every time I go out, it's an issue, because I'm going to a gay club. Every time I do something, every time I'm on, just whatever the case, if we make plans, and for some reason I cancel the plans, it's more personal to you. You're finding issues at home. It's just all kind of stuff that was happening. Like, it was like that I could tell that there was resentment starting to take place, even though we had became close. Because of the fact that she probably felt rejected. And I'm just going to be very honest. I mean, that was because of the fact that that night, what was going to happen didn't happen. So, and I think a lot of it, the other part had to do with, as far as the signals, because you mentioned what kind of signals were being sent. We both were giving off very much lovey-dovey vibes. It wasn't just a one-sided thing. Okay, it took two to tango. So I think it caused issues, within our friendship. But I say all of that to say that not only did all of this take place, but we all, because of the fact that she knew, like, this woman literally knows everything about how I'm emotionally set up. And it got to the point to where, and I know this may be a little graphic, but I need y'all to understand where I'm trying to go with this. It got to the point to where I was so comfortable and so, like, assured of myself, when it came to being around this woman, that even by simply being in the room with her would literally arouse, turn on my senses. I think you can kind of understand where I'm going with that. So, and a lot of that had to do with was because, like I told you, we had became so close and shared so much together as far as with our lives that I had started to really understand the concept, and I didn't know it until all this time had passed. That this whole time I understand the concept of what it was to be with a woman for the first time and not have any insecurities about anything. So when I saw this happening before my eyes, it made me realize it's not that you are confused about your identity, it's just that you just didn't have the right person to show you the possibilities of what was possible until you was put into certain situations, and those situations were, basically us, becoming closer and growing closer together, and us sharing, just our past, and just being vulnerable with one another, and not having any holdbacks. Like, it really allowed me to tap into a certain side of me that I did not see. So even though we're not friends now, due to obvious reasons that things became complicated with our friendship because of mixed signals, if you want to call it that, um, I do feel like that I owe her a lot when it comes to me being okay with being bisexual and knowing that I am attracted to women. It's just that it takes a special kind of woman to love me. And that's what I had to come to realize, is that it takes a special, it's not that I'm not attracted to women, it's just that it takes a special kind of woman to love someone like me. And I will always be indebted to her for that, because she really showed me that it's okay to be who I am. I didn't have to be this overly alpha male masculine guy to be accepted. I was able to be this soft, gentle spoken, you know, goofy, bubbly person, and not be looked at as less than, by a female. And I think that was all that I needed, was just to have that validation that I am good enough for a female as well. So yeah, I think women have an intuition that told her you was gay, and somewhere in her mind, most women, she felt she had what it took to make you straight. So you are right. She felt rejected. Yeah, and that's exactly what it was to a certain degree, is that, I think in her mind the end goal was, I can bring him over to not just a woman's side, but my side in specific. My side, meaning her side in general. I think that was the ideal as far as with her. But when that didn't happen, it just was a great letdown, a huge letdown. And I do feel bad about the situation, because I know what it feels like to feel rejected. And that's probably what she felt. It may not have been from my side what it was, but that's what she felt, is rejected, you know, um, in a lot of ways. So, and I guess now looking back on it, um, do I think that we can ever fix? Do I think that we can ever fix a? If a man stand up, if I have made a man stand up at attention and he stopped, I would take it personally, because I assume there's something. Yes, and that's exactly what I feel like was the straw that broke the camel's back, is when that happened. Um, and it also made things complicated. So that's why I had to move out eventually, because I could tell that ain't that love that she had for me went from that to resentment to probably anger. And it's not just that, but we have also um attempted several times, even after, to still hold on to a friendship after I had moved out, moved on, everything. but unfortunately, it just did not work out. And I think the reason why it did not work out was because of the fact that um I just, I felt like that the damage had already been done from my side. And I just felt like why even put her through that? Just let it go. Cause stuff just started happening to where I could tell she was really um we kind of was one of the same. She kind of shared a lot of the same things that I struggled and dealt with when it came to being an introvert, when it came to not fitting in with other people. She kind of struggled with other things similar to what I went through. And I just figured, why even add to this? Just go our separate ways. If I saw her in public, I would still speak. I will always have love for her. But I just think that some people are better off left alone. So that's just that. Um, but um, have I ever consummated a relationship with a woman? Um, I mean, I've definitely had relationships with a female. Um, consummated though. I'm trying to think if I could say that. That's kind of I don't know. That's kind of tricky because I don't think I don't mean because here's my only thing. So this is my only thing because I had somebody told me this. So there's first of all let me just ask this because I was told that sexual relations, you can say that I did so and so with a person, but that may not count as being having sex. So if you mess around with a person, and this can be a woman, if we talking about since we're talking about a woman, if you mess around with a woman, does that equate to consummating, or does it just equate to y'all messed around? Because when I think of somebody say, "Oh, I had sex with somebody," when somebody tells me that, I'm thinking that you went all the way. I'm not thinking that you just played around, dipped and dabbed. I'm thinking you went all the way. Now, what I was told is that if you say that you had sex with somebody, it could mean that y'all messed around or you went all the way. So that's why I'm asking the question. What exactly entails under those terms? Because some people may feel having sex is just messing around as well as going all the way for on, or it could just mean sex meaning going all the way. So I think that's the breakdown of it. I always saw it as if you tell somebody you had sex, that means you went all the way. But if you tell somebody you messed around, that means y'all might have just messed around and not went all the way. So that's the question I have in my mind. But if you're okay, consummate all the way. Okay, so in that case, no, I have not. And that night that happened, that I was telling you about, that was the closest that I ever came to it. So I have not at all. I have messed around, but I have never went all the way, to answer your question specifically. I would like to, but I feel like at this point, okay. So yeah, I would like to, but I feel like at this point in my life, it's gonna take somebody that really has to be confident and secure in themselves, because once again, the problem that I have ran across so much, yeah, I'm not dumb. I know that I may not be the best looking dude, but I definitely know I'm far from the ugliest looking dude. So I know my looks ain't an issue, but I think the biggest thing is that it's just going to take the right kind of person to um, want to do that with, because I think the biggest thing that's going to come into play is first of all them feeling comfortable enough, which would make me feel comfortable enough to go all the way. If they don't feel comfortable enough because I've been with a man to go all the way, then of course I'm not going to feel comfortable enough to go all the way. I'm going to feel that pressure. So for that, you know, if it happens, then hey. If it doesn't, I guess it wasn't meant to be. But I definitely, in this day and age, knowing what I know now, and like I said, I know this is probably just in general. This can be with anybody. It's not just, it's not just a gay thing. I think it's an all around away thing. Thank you, Royal. I think it's not a gay thing. It's just all around the way thing. I lost my train of thought. When it comes to, I don't know, I guess when it comes to, as far as you got to be on the same wavelength as a person, or as far as y'all feeling comfortable with one another to actually go all the way or whatever. But oh, I know what I was gonna say. So I just feel like when it comes to people being attracted to people, people are only attracted to, and it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. People are only attracted to people of a certain particular uh type. And I guess with me, my biggest, if I was to still have an insecurity, my biggest thing is that, as it pertains to the gay side, I'm not, there is a part deep down intuition inside of me that feels that I'm not gay enough on what the gay community deems as being normal, and I'm not hard enough as far as when it comes to straight, and when I say in the straight, I mean women, meaning that I'm not rough around the edges. I don't have these certain elements that I feel like women look for in a person. So I kind of feel like that it makes it hard on both sides, because on the gay side, when I speak of that, what I'm speaking on is, oftentimes most of the guys that I run into are very much afraid of commitment. They are terrified of commitment. And then the other part is that um people for some reason think that I'm too much of a pretty boy, meaning that I like to be well groomed all the time. And I see nothing wrong with that. That's just how I was raised. Is presentation is everything. So, people are going to judge you always. First appearance is that's going to hit the most, the hardest. So I can't help that's what, I feel comfortable with, is wanting to look good, smell good, hygiene on point, all of that. And then the second thing is that I can't help it if I'm just not the type to just be sleeping with 1,000 people. I'm not built that way. I'm not emotionally set up that way. And then on the flip side with the women, I feel like that the women, some of the women, um, the man gotta present a challenge in order for them to want to date you, basically. And when I say challenge, meaning that, the good guys that got all their stuff together, no, not those. It's got to be some kind of drama going on with you. And then it's like, oh, that's the person that I want. Now, I'm not saying this with everybody, because I do feel like there's people out there on both sides who are willing, able, and ready. I just feel like that maybe those people just have not crossed paths with each other, per se. I'm not trying to throw shade, but I don't understand people who feel the need to be open. Yeah, and then that's the other thing. So Um, open relationships, I cannot get down with that. And I see a lot of that in the gay community. People that have been together for years got an open relationship. I'm sorry. People say that Scorpios are possessive. Well, if that's the case, then I'm a Scorpio. Maybe that's why I'm possessive. But I have no desire to be in anybody's open relationship, because I don't believe in sharing when it comes to certain things. That is not my forte. First of all, I'm too much afraid of catching something. My immune system is already trash Why do I want to put myself through that by now opening up my relationship to God knows what can sit here and come in? I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about spiritually, mentally, whatever the case. Because 9 times out of 10, the person can't miss what they ain't never had. So what if you get with somebody who's probably better than you? And there's always somebody that's better than you. Now you got the issue of you can't compete because you don't let your relationship get open to other things outside of it. Another reason folks are attracted. That's hilarious. People do associate that a lot. I guess with me, I'm thankful and blessed. I don't claim to be all big, grande, but I definitely, I do definitely people feel like that people equate that. And then also not only that, but in the gay community, I know this is kind of off topic, but in the gay community, people just assume automatically that I've just, I'm a top out the womb, meaning that I'm the, if you just to break it down in society standards, I'm the man in a relationship. If you want to break, even though I hate that standard, but just to make it make sense for y'all who may not understand, people want to assume that, oh, he a top because he's 6 feet 8. It has nothing to do with it. I played all roles. I played a submissive role. I played a dominant role in a relationship. It does not matter. Like I have no hangups on any of that, especially at this point in my life, because I understand that those things don't define who I am. They are just only a fragment of the person that I am, as far as a whole. I'm still going to be myself at the end of the day. That's not going to change. Yes, and Royal, I did. I actually you are very much right. I actually started off as being a bottom. I definitely did. And I think a lot of that also just being transparent with you had a lot to do with because things that I had experienced in my childhood, they ended up molding me. And when I became a man, that's what I was attracted to, was being a bottom. It wasn't until I got older that I actually got kind of a little fed up with always being in that predicament because I felt like that people assume that bottoms are it just automatically makes you this in the box person and that's all you are good for. And it's so many other layers to that. Just like with a woman, if a woman is dominant and powerful, people think that, oh, when she gets off her job she's still the same way. No, when she gets off her job she could be the most submissive submitting person that you would ever meet. Just because she owns her own business and is a boss does not mean that when she gets off her job that's all it is. And I think you know people just they think, oh, because you're this it just only equates to this. Like I said, I became attracted to other things as far as when it came to feminine men later on in life. I don't think it really had anything to do with anything other than the fact that I just I started becoming more comfortable when I started kind of getting a little bit more experience sexually with what I like and what I don't like, pretty much. Hi, hey Marcus. Do you be on folks one? Do you be on folks one? The in living, you said, do you be on folks one? Break that down for me. What is, because I'm out of the loop on language. What does Owen mean? The 11. Yes, you call it live. You're a great kitchen. I hear that a lot, Royal. I do, but I'm telling you, it's a struggle out here. That's why I guess I made it up in my mind. Like I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna stop looking. Like it's not to say I'm not open to what comes in my life, but I'm definitely not searching high and low for my forever. Like I think I have came into acceptance that I'm accepting that I could be alone for the rest of my life, and that just may be a reality. It just may be a reality. So, um, so yeah, that's that. But I say all of that to say that coming to the point to where I am at now, as far as it pertains to, I definitely agree. Giving head, get ahead. Oh, I didn't know what that meant. I mean, it don't really matter, you know. I have no hangups about it. I mean, of course, I have limits at some point, as I think we all do. Like that part that you mentioned, I definitely don't have any issue with that at all. Either way, vice versa. But when you start talking about golden showers and other stuff that just completely will activate my OCD and cause my germaphobe the enhanced, and I'm gonna definitely sit here and completely dismantle, okay, and completely be like, no, because there's just certain things I'm just not doing at all. I'm sorry. I know you may call me boring. I'm just not doing it. I'm not digesting anything that ain't supposed to be in my digestive system other than food. I think you can catch my drift with that. I don't want to be like it's just no. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. No. I'm obsessed with smelling good way too much for all of that tomfoolery. Okay? And I'm obsessed way too much with germs as well for all that tomfoolery. If you put it out. Yes, and that's what I truly am believing. So that's why now, like, I'm trying to take off all labels. Like like I said, I no longer want to be considered, oh, he a bottom. I no longer want to be looked at as, oh, he just a gay man. No, I like things of all aspects. I've dated trans women, I've dated cisgender women, I excuse me, I've dated men. I truly have no hangups. As a matter of fact, if you really wanted to put a label on it, you could possibly even call me demisexual, which I just found out exists. I didn't even know there was such a term. But let me read the actual definition for you though, just to make it make sense. So demisexual. 6 signs that you might identify as being demisexual. Okay. So demisexual is okay. So according to this here, the broad definition of demisexual is that you only experience sexual attraction in the context of a close emotional bond. So that I think would sum me up probably the best with what I'm attracted to is emotional bonding. Have I dated a trans man? No, I have not. Am I opposed to doing it? Hey, I would never knock it if I ain't tried it. Is that the same as polyamorous? I don't think that's the same. Let me look. Polyamorous. Desire for an intimate relationship with more than one. Okay, that says that is the practice of desire for more than one relationship, for more for an intimate relationship with more than one partner. So no, that's not the same definition. So polyamorous is basically an intimate relationship with multiple people, whereas demisexual is you're attracted to a person or you're desiring a person based off emotional bond. So it's like your emotional attachment, it will determine how if you are attracted to that person or not, if you feel that there's an emotional pull. Just like when people say pansexual is basically the attraction of you're attracted to a person's intelligence. Intelligence turns you on, or you're attracted to a person's like energy and stuff. But yeah, I lost my train of thought back then. It was something else I was gonna say and I cannot. So if for some reason if anything I said that makes sense at some point, charge it to my brain and not my heart. Because I feel like this booster shot is really messing with me. I kept putting it off on getting that booster shot and I ended up getting it, which is why I'm glad I took a couple of days off for so my body can catch up. But yeah, so that's kind of my, story. So that's kind of my story with all of that, when it comes to why I am the way I am as far as right now, as far as the person that I am. And, I know people want to say, have you seen a therapist? Have you talked to a therapist? I have not. I mean, well, no, I have talked to therapists. I have talked to multiple therapists, but I don't feel like I have really grasped as far as healing from talking to a therapist. Maybe that's because for me, I've always felt like, and I'm not saying that therapy doesn't work. I feel like that therapy is definitely great. It's definitely, I recommend anybody to talk to a therapist, even if your life is together. Still talk to a therapist. It's the best thing ever. If you ever experience it, you should at least do it once or twice. But as far as with myself, I've done therapy at least 10 or 15 times in my lifespan. And even though it has definitely made me grow as a person mentally, but I just don't feel like it really gave me the healing that I need. So for that, I just decided that I was no longer going to um, continue wasting my insurance on a therapist if it wasn't giving me the answers that I am looking for. And I think the answers that I am looking for is of me trying to understand, or really get a hold on a lot of unresolved issues that I've had in my past that I don't have answers to. And I think the reality of it is that I may never get those answers. I may never get those answers at all because of the fact that some things are just not meant to be understood. And I'm okay with that. Just like with the reason why I don't understand why me and my father can't have a relationship. That was a reality that I had to come to, that just may be a always untold story because I've tried so many times to mend a relationship with my father, and it has failed every single time. So at some point, you have to ask yourself the question, is it worth for you to keep putting yourself back into spaces if you know they're going to bring you nothing but great pain? And for somebody of my caliber, because of the fact that I worked so hard at overcoming so many obstacles, I'm just at a point now to where I'm so protective of my space, my energy, everything, because I know that plays a lot on how I function from day in and day out. And I understand that I need to be mentally well. If I'm not mentally well or stable, it does me no good and I'm no good to anybody else. So at some point, you have to make a conscious decision on being at peace with not having the answers to things that you long for the answers to, because some things you may just never get a resolution with. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing. Is it going to hurt? Will it always have some kind of living in your head rent free space in the back of your mind? Sure. But it is perfectly okay with unresolved issues not being resolved, because every battle is just not your battle, period. Um, so I do, well, I can't really say I do present day, but one of the people that were one of the family members that molested me is no longer alive. I did go to their funeral. I did see him in the casket. It was very hard to do because I didn't really know whether to be angry or sad. But it gave me closure. It did. The other person is living happily with a family, married and everything, which was another family member. And I haven't seen him since I was a kid, and I don't intend on ever to see him. At this point, I think that I'm probably at I'm probably at peace, as much peace that it's gonna bring for me. I'm probably at peace with it, and I'm okay. Um, as far as with that there, because I realize that now the only thing I can do is just focus forward and share my story with others in order to help them, excuse me, understand that they're not alone, and that I understand the pain when somebody sexually violates you. So and I know I say that a lot, but I even have it hanging on my wall in my bedroom. It is what it is. And I believe that that's just a true saying. Some things that just are what they are. Um, I do feel like that the person that is married, happily family and stuff, is it my place to put them on blast at this point? No, because I feel like everybody has a judgment day to answer to. We all do, for our, sins and past transgressions and things that we've done in the past. So I feel like that it's just it is what it is. That's all I can say is it is what it is with that. Um, I do feel like that it's gonna always have some kind of impact though when it comes to how I interact on a certain level when it comes time to being intimate in the bedroom, because I feel like that if I get to that point with you and we go that direction, it's gonna always have to be more for me than, even if, let's just say hypothetically speaking, it was a hookup, it's gonna have to be more for me emotionally for me to accept the fact that we did that, you know, intimate act, because otherwise my mind will sometimes relapse and try to tie it back to a moment in time when I was molested, because some of the things that you do in the bedroom are some of the things that happened to you when you was a kid, and that's my story. So that's why I have to allow myself to be okay with some things so that I won't keep connecting dots that don't need to be connected. Because I feel like that person should not have to pay for what somebody else did. Do you feel comfortable with writing them a letter and letting I thought about it. Um, but being that when I first so when the person that passed away in my family, when that first happened, his death, it opened up a lot of old wounds because I shared some things. Well, some of my family members had already knew on that side of the family. And I shared some things, as far as, of course, within the family around the time that that person had passed away, and how that even came up, I forgot. Like, it's been a couple of years now, maybe like 3 years, 3 or 4 years. But when it got brought up, it caused so much tension. Like, literally, it caused a lot of tension, a lot of not so good moments or good feelings, environments, um, interactions with some of my other family members, because they could not believe that this person would ever do that, because they didn't do it to them. So therefore, because they didn't do it to them, then they could have not possibly done that what they did to me. And because of that, it just caused a lot of very difficult moments in time for me to be told that you're a liar, and that because you sleep with men, that's you're just looking for attention, and that there's no way in the world this person could have done that to you. You're just whatever. So yeah, yeah, that's why I just made it a point to let it go. um and just stop beating a dead horse. And I do definitely, I've been contemplating on writing a book. I think when the time is right, I probably will. Um, I told myself if I ever reach 5,000 subscribers, then maybe I would then, only because whatever book I write, I want it to really cater to what my brand and platform stands for. So, by then, if that goal ever happens, at least I would know that 5,000 people, um, I will have at least some in some way impacted or helped. Even now, I can still help and impact, and I mean, I can start now on even writing a book, but I'm definitely trying to give myself some more time to really think about what direction do I want to go, as far as with the overall message of the book. Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah. So even with that, writing to the sole person that did it, I still have reservations with that, only because in the back of my mind, there's a small child that is still afraid, if that makes sense. Yeah, I know he's wrote several books that I need to read, and I know he's pretty good at writing. Um And I actually follow, I don't know if you know, but I actually follow them too, him and Carlton. I follow their journey on YouTube a lot. So yeah, but I definitely, do appreciate you all. This has definitely been very fun. I didn't know I would be on here this long. I only plan on being here for an hour. But I do like interacting with you all. I love interacting. Oh my God, I love interacting with, I don't even like to call you fans. Like and it's not that I understand when people say fans. I do understand they mean no harm, but I always like to call people my supporters, my family, because that's what it feels like. Because like I told you, this channel was really in not just building a brand, but an outlet for me to really be able to express myself in that sorts. But thank you all for the cash apps, the super chats, all of that stuff. I'm greatly appreciative. I'm going to rest now because I feel like my throat is about to give out. But I may hop back on here tomorrow, um, if y'all will have me later on, tomorrow, maybe like tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, maybe tomorrow evening around the same time. But I hope that you all be blessed. Just know that I love each and every one of you, and just remember that even though today is rough, there's always hope for tomorrow. You all take care, and excuse me, you have a wonderful blessed night. Thank you all again. Peace.